thought you knew everything about World War II? Think again. What if I told you about an aircraft carrier made of ice, bats armed with tiny bombs, or an entire army that existed only as inflatable decoys? Get ready, because we're diving headfirst into the most outlandish, top-secret, and downright bizarre tales from World War II that will make you question everything you thought you knew about warfare. This isn't your history class, folks. This is the stuff they didn't want you to find out. Our journey into the absurd begins with weaponry so outlandish they sound like something out of a comic book, yet they were very, very real. Imagine Project Habakkuk, a concept so ambitious and bizarre that it involved building an unsinkable aircraft carrier the size of a supertanker entirely out of pucrete. A reinforced ice composite, making it practically impervious to torpedoes and bombs. A frosty fortress that was almost deployed to the Atlantic, proving that even in war, Mother Nature's materials were considered for destruction. And if that wasn't wild enough, picture Bat Bombs, an actual US plan to strap tiny incendiary devices to millions of Mexican free-tailed bats, releasing them over Japanese cities where they would roost in buildings before detonating, turning entire urban areas into firestorms. Truly a chaotic winged nightmare that thankfully never came to full fruition, but left behind a legacy of charred blueprints and bemused scientists. From bizarre weaponry, we shift to tactics so brilliantly deceptive they bordered on the theatrical, proving that sometimes the greatest weapon isn't a gun, but a good old-fashioned prank. Enter the Ghost Army, the US Army's 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, a unit comprised of artists, designers, and sound engineers whose sole purpose was to fool the Germans into believing massive Allied forces were where they weren't, deploying inflatable tanks, trucks, and artillery that could be inflated by 2 men in minutes, even broadcasting fake radio traffic and sound effects of troop movements to complete the illusion, so convincing they saved thousands of lives through sheer theatrical genius. Truly a masterclass in military make-believe. And speaking of unconventional disguises, imagine soldiers wearing women's uniforms for infiltration. While less documented and more shrouded in whispers and wartime anecdotes, there are accounts of male spies and special operatives on both sides utilizing women's clothing to blend into civilian populations or cross enemy lines undetected. A desperate measure that highlights the extreme lengths individuals would go to for intelligence or sabotage, blurring the lines of identity in the fog of war. And finally, no discussion of World War II's bizarre underbelly would be complete without delving into Hitler's obsessive quest for wonder weapons, which ranged from fantastical concepts to terrifying realities. While many were propaganda-fueled pipe dreams, like the elusive Mighty Gustav, a massive railway gun so large it required 25 trains to transport and a crew of 250 men to operate. Others, like the V-2 ballistic missile, truly revolutionized warfare, becoming the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile and a terrifying precursor to modern rocketry, demonstrating a dangerous blend of scientific ambition and genocidal intent. These untold stories remind us that even in the darkest times, the human mind conjures up the most astonishing, sometimes terrifying, and often comical solutions. Which of these bizarre secrets blew your mind the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're hungry for more untold stories and historical revelations, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the hidden corners of history.